talking about like how COVID has impacted, I think, the full pyramid as a whole. And I think you also did a podcast, I think you talked sport recently about the project Big Picture. What do you think is wrong or good with that? What is your opinion on it?
Everything's wrong about it.
But I just wanted to ask, like, as a whole, like from the outside, it just looks like they're like the top teams are pumping money for the down pyramids, down lower down the pyramids.
Well, I think it's, if you in life or in anything, in a company, in a family, you're always as strong as your weakest link. And I was brought up to believe that the rich have got a responsibility to help the poor, and that's very difficult. That's a very difficult concept to get across in such a capitalist sport as football. But what I object to be perfectly honest, is guys from outside, individuals from outside who've got no idea or conception of what football means to a club or to a community. They see football as a method of making money or making more money. And we're talking about billionaires here. And they've got no feel for what football can and should be, which is this expression of a common cause, it's commitment, it's a shared love. They don't love football. I bet a couple of them don't even like it. What they do appreciate is the money that they can make because of the global popularity of the Premier League. And we're getting at the moment, it was very significant that Project Big Picture was essentially created by two sets of American businessmen representing Liverpool and Man United. So you've got the Glazers, who have never risked a penny or a dollar of their own money, but have taken nearly £1 billion out of Manchester United. You have Fenway, or John Henry, in the embodiment of that. That's a company now which is undergoing a merger with an acquisitions company, Red Bull. Now, at the end of that, Fenway will probably be worth $8 billion. They are using the distress of others to exploit them. They are saying, right, okay, we can give you some support, but this is what we want. We need all the power in our hands. And it's not just Liverpool and Manchester United, it's the top six. So, basically they're saying, well, we are more equal than the rest of you. We're going to take all the money. We've got all the influence. They were even saying that the top six could say to, I don't know, a Burnley, let's say, oh, you've got this great, I don't know, you've got an Indian owner, let's say, coming from Bollywood, who's got lots of money, great ambition, great ideas, and we're not going to let him in because we don't want his competition. Now, that's crazy. My view very much is that I think people, I don't know what it's come across like on TV where you are, but it's really weird watching football without fans. And everyone is saying football needs fans. It should cherish fans. Yet these guys are basically trying to milk them dry. We have a situation in England at the moment where from this weekend, Manchester United playing at Newcastle, it costs the average viewer another £15 to get pay-per-view for that. And that's on top of the £100 or so a month they're already paying for it. So at a time when work is scarce, people are worried about their health, about their jobs, these football billionaires are saying, we want more of your money. Give it to us. Now, I hate that, and I don't mind saying that, because football doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the towns and the communities that those clubs represent. It belongs to kids. It belongs to fans of all ages, both sexes. It belongs to you. It belongs to me. It doesn't belong to them. And, you know, they are trying to just essentially exploit a pretty bad situation for their own ends. And I hate it. And my view very much is, and I'd be interested to see what you think about whether this would work, because I think they should call their bluff. I think they should say, okay, you know, they rejected a project Big Picture yesterday, as we speak, and there will be another review. So they'll come back with another form of it to try and still get some more power. I would say, well, look, call their bluff. Say, okay, you top six, go away. Go and form your Super League with Juventus, because obviously you're a fan. You know, the rest of the European elite. You have a Super League, which I think will be really popular initially in Asia and the developing world as well, and North America. But eventually people are going to get bored with that. You know, you can only play, Liverpool can only play Juventus 5 times in 2 months or whatever, and people are going to get bored with it. So we'll go. I think the great strength of football is almost the intimacy that it is. It's your club, it's your town, and I think it'd be quite interesting to see when we get through the pandemic how will football have changed in England. And I think more fans will actually go down to the smaller clubs because they have a greater affinity with them there. You can't, you know, the ordinary man and woman cannot identify with an owner who's got more billions than he can count. They cannot identify with players on, well, let's take Mesut Ozil, who's actually I like as an individual because he's got a fantastic social conscience. But he's being paid £350,000 a week to do nothing because he's fallen out with his manager. I find that mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. But I would go back to the central point. Really, is that I believe in the rich doing what they can to help the poor, and I think our government should help more. I think our government has got a responsibility that it's shirking to actually support these businesses, because that's what they are. If they don't, I think quite a few clubs will probably go out of business, and that would be terrible. Because in this film that I've just started, I've gone to a club called Bury, which died, you know, was closed last year. They're setting up a new club, and what struck me, you know, I went to the old ground, which was obviously shut up. And about a year ago, there were all these protests. So all the fans got there and they put their shirts on the gates and their flags. So it's a year on now, and the sun's been at them during the summer, and it's getting colder now. And, you know, the whole, it looks really tatty, the place. The thing that struck me very much, and it was in my own mind, was that it's a bit like going to someone's grave and they've not laid flowers on it, and it's untended. It's exactly like that, the football club, and it felt eerie. But it's when you go there and you realise that, okay, it's not just, you know, there's only 23 teams in that league. That one missing name and one missing club is a real personal tragedy for thousands of people. You know, there's a guy that I met at Bury who said, you know, I cry every time I go there because I know what it means. It means that, you know, we buried the ashes of my friend next to the pitch. This is where I've been when I found my dad 50 years ago. It means something, you know, it's not just a football club. You know, Barcelona do that, don't they? Barcelona say SK more than a club, which is probably in their case a bit of a branding exercise. But when you go to those smaller clubs, you realise that that is true. It is more than a club. It's about people, and it's about the relationships they form and the passions that they have. And I love that. That to me is football. Liverpool playing Juventus 5 times in 2 months is not football.